all the listeners and viewers out there on the Primal 4K app, Fit FM 96.7, Facebook, YouTube. Welcome to Primal Sports Center. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Kane Shrub Watson. You know what time it is? It's time for Primal Sports Desk. And we have an interesting lineup today, Dale.
Yes, a very controversial one, I might add. Well, you know, we have the sprinter, the Jamaican sprinter, Tyquendo Tracey, will join us here in about 7 minutes' time. You know, we had some issues over there at the World Championship in Budapest, and in terms of the 4x1 sprint relay lineup.
Team selections and...
Over team selection. So he will join us here to discuss and to tell us what exactly took place over there in Budapest.
And plus, you know, give us a rundown of his whole career, where it all started to where it is now, and, you know, what's his aims coming up next year, seeing that it's an Olympic year. You know, we're not short and controversial on the show, and we have our old controversial boss at the midway point with sports commentary. But before we introduce Tyquendo in a couple of minutes, I mean, what was your highlight of the week there in terms of the sporting one?
I would have to give it to my world record holder, Sherika Jackson, you know, running another spectacular time, 21:48, you know. After a long season, I thought that's a big time. And in my opinion, I think she is the current world record holder for the 200 meters, you know. So that was my...
running another sub 21.5. She has now 3 times running sub 21.5. But to me, I would give it to Elaine. Because we're on the show here. Some of us wrote off Elaine's career, saying that it's going to be hard for her to come back.
Some of us.
All of us. I was a guilty party.
Including Peter.
Including Peter, and I'm sure, and I'm sure later on in the show he'll comment on that in his sports commentary talk. But
Elaine,
I would give to Elaine, seeing that she had a pep in her step, and towards the end of the season now, you know, she had a lengthy season full of injuries, but she looks healthy. And I mean, as I said earlier in the show, it's an Olympic year next year. But that 10.8, you know, one thing, we're getting tricked with fast times all the time. When we're spoiled with all these fast times, with the 1919 board, 19.2s, 21.4s. But when you look at it, you know, people have won medals of all colors running 10.8s back in the day. VCB as recent. So 10.8 is a legit elite time, and for her to bounce back and come and run it now, and we know she's not in tip-top form, shows that she can still do it.
I was one of them who wrote her off, and I will admit this. You know, I said, well, as long as if she change coach, I should go back to whatever, change coaches. I think that she should be able to find some form of form. But what I saw from Elaine, that told me that she's in a better space now, is her whole body language is much different. It's not so negative now. I see she's smiling more, and even when she's running, you can just see it in just the way she's running. And
sometimes even we forget that we see these athletes perform. We're all humans,
of course,
and we have different aspects of our life, and it does affect our performance sometimes out there. Seeing that she's now married, transition from a coach, she probably have personal problems in her life, and that probably even affected her and her injury, and obviously her performance. So she seems to be in a happier space, as you said.
And you're right, you're right, because the mental side is probably more important than the physical, you know, because the mental is what really drives everything. Because without the mental, you won't be able to move. And the motivation.
And the only thing the fans see is a success. I want to see is a success. They don't see the preparation. They don't see the trials and tribulations, the sweat, the blood, the tears when you go home, you're in pain, you know, the person you lean on. I mean, we all have our problems, and these athletes are no different.
Yes, that is true.
We only focus on the performance because we want them to perform, and they're done in the Jamaican colors. But to see her come now and end the season with a 10.8, although the season is not fully over, but it's coming to a close, shows that once she's fully fit and recover from injury and in a right space, Elaine Thompson can again be a world beater and be top 3 in the world.
So it sounds like we'll change with my mouth.
No, not yet. I she has to stay healthy. But anybody stay healthy, you know, you go in the mix.
Of course.
But I think that performance was heartwarming to see, because everybody was like, oh, Elaine. And you know, Elaine is not really one that is tied to the people.
Yes, and I can tell you this. I see the people like the people them warming up back to her now.
Yeah.
Maybe
but they
because
want her to do good.
I realize that maybe because it's like a Shakari thing. Them start to come Elena for come defend the city. Yeah, so I see where even on Facebook and some of the social media platforms where the people them start to kind of warm up back to her and want her to come back in.
Even Shelly, I'm sure if Shelly didn't have her knee injury early in the season, we know Shelly would be running 10-6 like it's a Sunday evening. But I mean, these athletes do go through more than what we see on the track, on the table, on the football field. No matter what the sporting spectrum is, they are humans and have lives outside of it. And sometimes it affects the parents out there. Yes, we expect professionalism and all of that, but at the end of the day, we're humans.
Yeah.
They want it just as bad as even more than what we sit there and look at the Reggae Boys last night. We're out there cussing, but we talk about the Reggae Boys later.
Yeah, we can leave the Reggae Boys for later.
After sports comes, but seeing that our guests later, a few minutes from now, is a track. We stick on track leading up to that. But another top performance, Shanika Ricketts joining the elite club of jumping over 15 meters in the triple jump. Something that she wanted to do throughout her whole career.
That's her personal best?
Personal best.
Wow, okay.
3 centimeters over. She was always that close. Jumping 1490, 1490, 1497, 495. And she finally eclipsed the 50-meter mark, jumping 1501, winning the Diamond League event yesterday in her personal best. And her seasonal best, personal best. So 1501, congrats to her as well, which I think is another top performance yesterday. But as I said, Shaker Jackson, 248. Definitely a top performance, but to me, I give it to Elaine yesterday.
All right. Well, no, we will discuss a little bit later in the show. Well, now let us welcome Tyquendo Tracey, one of the best sprinters that we have currently in Jamaica here. Welcome to Primal Sports, Tyquendo.
Welcome.
Yes, Tyquendo. Yeah, we know some of the accolades.
Wait, before we even go all the way up there, so one thing more to say firstly. I did stop doing this, but I need to do it again. It's Tyquendo. Tyquendo.
Tyquendo.
Yeah.
Tyquendo. All right, we'll have that. We'll have to make sure.
You have to make sure, because everybody said Tyquendo.
I want to tell you my first international medal I had for Jamaica. Well, not had. I still have it. My name spelled wrong on it. So it's been going on for a while.
All right. Well, we'll start that out. Tyquendo, Tracey.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into the hot topic and on, we have to start from top. When did you know that track and field is your calling? When did it start and say, this track didn't look like me, because I'm kind of fast. When it started for you? Not hearing you.
Your volume. Adjust your volume.
Muted.
You're muted.
So I mute.
Oh no, you're good now. You're good now.
Yeah, it was muted just now, and I don't do it. I understand, but
anyways, you're good now.
Even now, sometimes, to be honest, look at things, and because I've been through a lot, right, in the world of track and field, and sometimes one day this for me, because honestly, I tell you, people say, you don't need to watch other people, but when I tell you, I say I've seen where people come in track and field after me. People give less effort than me, and I've achieved more, far more.
Yeah.
And sometimes look on it and I say, is this for me? But then at the end of the day, everybody just have to look on them personal development and just work with what they have. And I have a love for track and field. And I know I won't necessarily become the best, but I aim to be. But at the end of the day, it's just my love for the sport, and I do it. And so far, I can say I can compete worldwide. So, I mean, it has its perks.
Yeah, because you have one title, as I said, for Jamaica, even national champion 2018, knockout champion, sub 10 club. A lot of people I know do track and field and strive to run sub 10, and I know them can't run sub 10. So
I've made the short list.
There you go. So
what do you think about the amount of thousands of people that tried or is even competing in athletics and has never been under the 10-second barrier? It's quite a lot.
Yeah, and from back then till now.
yeah, the amount of persons that have been under the sub 10 barrier is not that much when you think about it compared to the amount of persons that are trying. So it's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. Definitely. And I said, through your trials and tribulations, but even before that, you're from Chilani. It seems like all fast people come from Chilani. What's up with this Chilani thing? What have done there?
Put it this way, all fast people come from country, yeah, man. And this is a discussion, you know, that I had with some people the other day, and I said, it's like, what I kind of find it really weird that everything that has to do with proper development of athletics and even sport in general is in the corporate era. But yet still 90, let's not say 90, let's say 80% of Jamaica's major talent. And when I say major, I talk about the big names. None of them come from this side of the world.
Yeah, coming from the rural sections.
And then when you look at the school, when you look at the schooling, even in most of the big schools, if you check, all the school, the little school in my country, them go take them athletes and carry them come out town.
Yeah.
So right now, if things were done correctly, in my opinion, and we have proper facilities in country, right now Jamaica would be unstoppable in so many different levels. Because I know a lot of people I know a lot of people who just give up after high school because one, they don't have the places to train, two, they don't have the funding. So I mean, country-wise, the fruit them there.
I second you, because I think last week I mentioned it too. I said the country life facilitate more natural living and natural development from them young. You know, when you live in the urban areas, a lot of what we call it, the cuddling.
Molly cuddling. They said last week.
So I always thought that the real talent will come from deep rural Jamaica, just because of how the little youth that grow up and walk and all of these things.
How far you have to walk, the bag of bush.
That's what I mean by natural living.
And I mean, if you carry water from your young and then
alright, so that develop.
Far you push cat,
Yeah,
climb tree, you know.
Yeah, man, all of them something I myself may talk about.
We know, that's what I said. So from then you develop certain motor skills naturally. Versus you're in town, you jump in a car, your parents drop you to school, or you know.
Yeah, but watch a cartoon. You know the little cartoon where you used to come on in Jetsons. Where everything you just press a button and the water come to you, the juice come to you. That is how we live in Kingston and the urban areas. So there's no movement, there's no mobility for the youngsters. So I second you in terms of getting more infrastructure, more resources within the rural areas. I think it can work wonders, not just in track and field. I think it can work in cricket. It can work in tennis.
No, right across the board. I said it. Right across the board.
Right across the board, you know. Now, in terms of you now, tell me, where are you now in terms of club? Which club are you affiliated with now?
I've been with Surf Track Club for the last 2 years. Since April 2021. Is it April? April 1st?
Yeah. Surf Track Club. And who is in charge of Surf Track Club?
Okil Stewart. Over by UA.
And your family from racers as well, right?
No. MVP. MVP had some issues there, then I left because of I didn't necessarily want to go overseas, but I didn't really have a choice in a sense. But I took up the opportunity and went overseas. That didn't work out, and I think we might get in. I think we should get into that. But that didn't work out. Come back to Jamaica, which I wanted to do from the day I get to Florida.
Florida. Let's get into that. No problem. Let's get into that.
No, because the thing is, why I said we should get into it is that even with my situation now, with what took place overseas, Budapest. I remember one of the things that individual came out and said is that I'm a troublemaker because I've been moving from clubs to clubs, and I'm the fault to that.
Yeah.
And that is somebody trying to paint me as a villain without even knowing what really took place, why I decided to make those moves. The first move from MVP was because of some contractual thing where I decided I wasn't comfortable signing something and it was basically an ultimatum: is either you sign it and stay, or you leave. And I was like, no, I'm not do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of revising the contract or coming to a mutual.
Yeah, there was no coming to a mutual.
Is either this or that?
Is either this or that? Is either my way or the highway, right? Yeah. And I mean, I can't argue with the man. I saw him running thing, and if I say run a thing, I'm sorry, but I can't live like that, right?
Yeah.
And split ways, end up overseas. That coach that I was with, this man was an angel in the beginning, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then over time you start to see people's true colors. He was very disrespectful. He had a lot of racists coming because he's white, and sometimes
this was overseas.
This was when in Florida, and he was under investigation for other things, and a lot of people didn't feel comfortable, and he even failed to mention that everybody that joined that club in the year that I did, which was because the club was new, everybody left. Everyone has left.
Yeah.
Within 2 years span, the club basically started and ended in 2 years. So he was making it seem like, oh, I was over there having issue with or giving trouble or being disrespectful to people. Which, to be honest, when I left, I heard that the coach had told somebody that I was being disrespectful to him. That's why he told me to leave the club, which that wasn't the case. Which everybody can see because everybody else has left the club. And he's trying to make it seem like everybody else is the problem and not him. And if you look into it or do enough research, you can see that he's under investigation for several different things from
before
sexual
family club.
Yes, and even while things came up while he was there, from making the females feel uncomfortable, abusive behavior and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right, because from the last I heard, he can't coach without somebody supervising him.
Okay. Yeah.
So this guy was trying to.
That environment was.
That was environment was a no-go. The man was a good coach. Don't get me wrong, but it was a no-go in terms of your mental space. Like it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right, and as we said, if you go and do your research and look at the people who joined the club in 2018. Compared to who is still there now, nobody who joined in 2018 is still there. Everybody left and gone somewhere else. And a lot of people did well while I was there. I did well while I was there, but that wasn't enough, right?
Yeah, so different factors to running a club, not just as you said.
not just brilliant coaching.
Yeah. And then from there now you left and went to where you are now.
The Sub-Track Club.
Yeah. So who are the other members? Give me some other members that are under the Sub-Track Club.
Well, you have me, Emmanuel Archibald. He's Guyanese, and then you have the top 400-meter hurdler, national record holder, world junior record holder, Roshan Clark.
Yeah.
You have quite a few other people. You have Trinidadians. You have some other young people that are coming up from other schools. But just those are the names of the top people that are currently there. Oh, Randa White as well, who was in Budapest but didn't compete.
All right. Now that we don't have much time, so now that you mentioned Budapest, now we heard about the issues publicly from the coach and so forth. But so we want to hear your side on the story and what took place in terms of the whole relay issue and you not running and getting to participate in the 4x1 relays in Budapest at the World Championships.
So this is the funny part now, right? I keep on watching interviews from where the media lays on, because I guess he's the mouthpiece currently for J3 and whatever took place in Budapest. And I keep on noticing a trend where they are not addressing the problem that I really had. And I even said that in the video that I released, that, okay, you want to replace me on a 4x1, fine. But my issue is, one, how you are replacing me, and two, who you are replacing me with.
Yeah.
Right?
Before you go there, just give us a rundown of the finish in terms of the trials for the 100 meter, the finish, the names
All
of
right,
the
so the top from 8 to 7, it was Rowan Watson. Second place was Raheem Ford. Third place, Oblique Seville. Fourth place, Akeem Blake. Fifth place, me. Sixth, Michael Campbell. And seventh,
Kejan
Golson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eighth place was,
there was the eighth place didn't show up.
Yeah, didn't show. I was Kishan Thompson.
No, it wasn't Kishan. It was this guy that trained in Florida. What's his name again?
We used to go Georges, I think.
Used to go Georges, yes.
Yeah, Targa,
yes.
Yeah, man.
So that's it. That's the top 8. So
all right, and so in terms of the criteria, in terms of the selection, who was selected to be a part of the relay team pool heading to Budapest?
On paper.
On paper, what we knew of was the top 6 that I called.
Yeah.
Yes.
From 1 to 6. That's what we knew about.
Yes. That was
what was released to the public.
Public knowledge.
Yeah. Nobody knew about the extra person, which was number 7. Nobody knew about it. Right? And even if anybody knew about it, it was in a close space of people. Right?
But you said number 7. So in terms of the legality of that, in terms of can you add a number 7 to the pool already?
Apparently you can.
Okay.
Based on what I'm hearing, I don't know for a fact of these rules, but apparently you can, because I've seen where they carried more than 6 persons before, which from my viewpoint, anytime there is more than 6 persons, there's always a certain athlete involved in that extra, but I won't call anybody.
So that would be public knowledge. That would be known.
But that is normally public knowledge. It's not normally introduced when nothing can be done. But
let's do
it step by step. Get into Budapest. When we got to Budapest, I saw the Golson, and in my head I was like, okay, his coach is here, so maybe he's just here for extra races after Europe, and he's just here. But then now I noticed he got gears and everything, so I'm like, wait, he's a part of the team. We started doing button passes, and I can tell you, maybe they would want to say and it's something else. I was the only person doing button passes for the exchange for the third leg, right? So I was being prepared to run the third from what I could see. Nobody else was practicing third. But one can also argue and said everybody wasn't at the camp. Yeah. Which everybody else who wasn't at the camp, none of them ran the third leg.
Yeah.
Wait. Don't. No, that's a lie. I think what's his name? Ford ran the third leg, and Ford wasn't at the camp. Yeah. Yes, Ford wasn't at the camp. Yes, so Ford ran the third leg, right? Which, if you can see, that wasn't the best leg for him. But I'm just an athlete. I'm no coach. But got there. I was doing the changes for that specific leg. Nobody else was doing it. So even in the heats, I would have at least thought I would have run that leg, because I personally think I was one of the best persons to run that leg.
Yeah.
Right. And got there. By the time we got to the camp, World Championship start. Of course, people start get tense because of the mess up in the medley, because the persons that I thought would have actually run in the heats, they never run. And then how they made the decision was decision based off the coach's assumption, in a sense. It's not like they come up and call all of the quarter milers and say, hey, listen, do you guys think you can run the medley today and recover for your individual event XYZ time? They didn't do that. They basically assumed that they didn't want to run because of their individual event and used who they wanted to. Which, even if they used the other persons, they still made some mistakes, because the persons that they used, they still had better persons that they could have put in. But outside of that, that's not my business. People start getting tense. Afterwards, me start here say, oh, they want to put the best team out there for the 4x1, yada yada yada. So we come in a meeting Monday, and I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I have the dates written down, Monday or Tuesday, where they said, these are the persons that are going to be running the 4x1. So I sat back and I was listening, and they called the 5, they call Watson,
Ford.
Watson, Blake, Ford,
Civil.
Carl Oblique,
Civil.
yeah, and
Civil.
KJ and Golson, number 7,
Yeah.
right? Then I was like, wait, that's 5 persons. I mean, only can run 6 persons. It's not like say we're short of talent to not run everybody, and you know. But if you don't want to be sure, okay, you want to be sure, but yeah, use this man. Why is it you feel like he's better than me? And I'm sure all of those coaches.
That's the question I was about to
ask. And this was at the 13th
hour.
hour. This was like at the 13th hour after practicing.
My thing is, you know, okay, you want to replace him. You have to assume that, okay, because Tyquendo Tracey ran X amount of time before trials, that means he's still running that time. And I said this to people all the while. To check my history, I don't care about anybody else. I can talk about me. I prepare for championships. I don't prepare for track meets.
Yeah.
So, and it's proven every year at the trials. No matter what I run before, I am going to show up at the championship. And that is what I was prepared for. That is what my coach was preparing me for.
Yeah.
But as coaches, they can also say, because that is what they're saying now, that, oh, they can't go off that because yada yada yada. But they decided to put this person out there over me. And one day, he also went on an interview and said, oh, because somebody asked him, why didn't you do a runoff? And he was said, oh, as sprinters, garbage.
Yeah.
Total garbage. Because
if
you made this,
to choose from.
Yes. If you made this decision on Sunday and we won't be running until Friday, we could have easily done a runoff on Monday or Tuesday, and everybody would be fully recovered for Friday.
Yes.
So you definitely didn't want a runoff, because I'm sure he was there. He saw me training.
Yeah.
He saw me doing what I needed to do, and he knew I was in shape and I was ready to kill people. But at the end of the day, it's obvious for whatever reasons they wanted this person specifically to run.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, Taekwondo.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Kadrian is coached by who? Golson is coached by who?
Maurice Wilson.
And he is the head coach for
the national team.
For the national.
So isn't that a conflict of interest?
They don't see that
bringing somebody who did not finish in the top 6, bringing an outsider without proper notification. Isn't that somewhat a conflict of interest?
They don't see it that way, because in their view, they can do things without necessarily telling people.
Yeah.
Right?
But no accountability.
But let me show you something, because this is not just happening now, you know. Let me give you a good example. Let me pull this up on my phone. Last year, I'm going to give you another example. This happened last year, and I bet a lot of people overlooked that. Do you remember the Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, I was at the Commonwealth Games.
Do you remember who ran the 200 for Jamaica, male?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was... What's his name?
Andrew Hudson.
Andrew Hudson, yeah.
And who was the second person?
I think it was you.
Me? I was at home.
No, not you. What's his name? GC Foster. I think he's
Adrian Golson.
Adrian Golson, yeah.
Right.
Yes, he was there, yeah.
Think back to the national trials. Did he make that 200 meter finals?
No, he didn't.
And what did he run?
100 final, I think.
Okay, and what did he run at the Commonwealth Games?
200.
How?
Okay. I see a point.
How that happened? And let me give you something.
And your other members running 200 meters.
Let me give you some facts. So that year, his fastest times were 20.7, 20.9, 20.8, 20.7, 20.9, 20.8, 21.1, 20.9, and then at the Commonwealth he ran 21.1 and 21.1. There was an individual who said to me that their athlete got chosen, right, and got removed. This kid, name is Mario Heslop. He's now dead. He passed away. Rest his soul, right, in a car accident. His best time that year, which he was at the trials, and he did better than Kadrian. So his best times, as a matter of fact, Kadrian's best times at the national championship was 20.8, 20.90. That was his best time at the championship. This guy ran 20.4, 20.7, 20.3, 20.5, 20.5, 20.6, 20.6. Every single one of his times were faster than those.
Yeah.
But yet still was not selected for Commonwealth Games.
Which camp was Mario in?
I think he changed overseas. He changed overseas.
Not GC faster.
Our racers, yeah.
So explain to me, how was that decision made? Because okay, since let's leave Mr. Man out of this, right? Let's go to the selection panel. You're trying to tell me
he's an athlete as well.
Yes, you are trying to tell me that the selecting committee bypassed everybody in the finals except Andrew Hudson. Bypassed the other 7 persons and went to the person that didn't make the finals to select him for the national team.
Yes, this doesn't sound right at all.
And even you said no, with your situation, you finish 5th, they bypass the person that finished 6th. And bypass other people running good times.
And also remember the deadline. He claimed that he ran XYZ time and they decided to select him. But tell me this, you have Ewan Blake with a wealth of experience.
Yep.
Who is obviously in good shape.
Yeah.
You have Julian Ford. I can say have a great amount of experience when it comes to 4x4.
You run on the Diamond League, you run a good time.
Running relays. This man put Julian on a backstretch with one leg and him tear anybody apart.
That is true.
Right? And then Kishian, I can say he's young, right? Yeah. But regardless, he's running faster. You bypass all of those people for this. I'm not trying to style nobody, but just saying for this individual, right? Yeah. And you are trying to justify that by not justifying it and saying and talking about rules. And then you're going to say, oh, he made the finals. That's why they selected him. But that has nothing to do with it. Because you have selected people who didn't make the finals. Yeah. And then you go ahead and I heard you talking about some jumpers, but you have persons who had the qualifying time who wasn't selected for the team based off, I heard they said, funding. They didn't have enough for them. And you have persons who got selected based off world ranking. Not that they qualified, but world ranking. Which that's same, that goes to show again, GC Foster, another GC Foster athlete, right?
So you're saying there's no accountability and
so you would think that selecting somebody who has world ranking over somebody who has the qualifying standard had a better chance of getting a medal or representing Jamaica better.
But even so the numbers are there.
Help me make sense.
The numbers are there.
And everything is there. And I keep going back to all these interviews that they did. They refuse to address these things. And I believe most of these interviews that they are doing is extremely controlled because these questions are not being put towards them.
Yes.
It's almost like they give them a sheet of paper and say, oh, you can only ask these questions. Because there is no way these journalists are so naive and lack of knowledge that they can't do these researches and see that something is off.
So what's next? What is next for you in terms of your course of action? What is next? Because I hear Mr. Wilson talking about lawsuit and all kind of thing. What is your next course of action?
For me, it's the Newton's third law. Every action have a positive and equal reaction. I say,
take them back to school.
So if him throw something at me, right going down. So if he decides to step, it's up to him. And as his media liaison said, it's in his right. So in my opinion, I'm not trying to be too confident or boast in any way of sort. I'm just here defending what I thought I worked everything for. I keep on tell people I literally went through blood, sweat and tears this year, and I've done it countless times before. I remember there are days I come to training and I'm in pain and I can't train. My coach tell me to stay home, but I come training, sit down in my car, a ball, I look on the track because I cannot go out there because I know how much I am losing. And to be able to overcome that and get all the way to the World Championship. And somebody basically, not anybody's words, this is just words from me, somebody basically saying that, oh, you're not good enough, we have to use somebody else. No matter what you do, we don't care about that.
That's how you interpret
Come on.
it.
So
That's how I interpret it.
Unfairly. You were unfairly replaced and by somebody who you felt didn't warrant all of...
Yeah, and to show you how much I believe that they didn't care about how I felt about the situation. They didn't have a sit down with me and say, hey, Tracy, this is what we decide to do. Nothing. They just come in a meeting and say, this is the people that we're running. Right? They didn't even try to trick me. And say, yo, we are run 6 people. But you know, in their mind, they probably have the 5 of them around, but they know so them not giving a run, but they say, oh, we are run 6 people, and then on the day them say, oh, you know, so we decided to do this. They didn't even care to do that.
Blam in your face and say, all right,
say,
5.
Yo, this that's just basically what they did.
But I mean, what going forward, I guess this will shake up things a bit because even with the relay pool, we noticed that the team that ran was the top 4 and in the finals top 4 again. So I guess that kind of shake up things a bit.
Because, and this is my opinion, because they knew or believed that it would make things extremely more difficult for them if they had made that individual run. Because if you as a coach believed so strongly that this was the best person to run, in your mind, a little athlete will run him out, not gonna change that.
Yeah. So they knew
and as they came out and said, oh, they were doing the best for the country. If they were doing the best for the country and they believe that so strongly, why change your mind? Why?
At the end of the day,
if you're so much in the right, right? Why change your mind? It simply means as much as how they wanted this athlete to run, they wasn't sure how well he would have done.
Yes, and they would have gotten back even more backlash for it. So
they would have totally stick themselves.
So them pull out for save themselves at the end of the day.
Just to save themselves. Oh, we ran the best 4.
Yeah.
Right, so
I'm looking even forward for next year Olympics now.
Because we have to wrap up, but just tell us what's next on the track for you. You have any races this year? And tell us briefly about your road for next year, the Olympics in France.
Well, for me right now, I'm currently I'm off season. Enjoy myself, drink some liquor, and have a ball. Get past this. I mean, yes, at least do drink. We just don't overindulge.
I know this personally.
But anyways, and I mean, as soon as my season starts, in terms of training wise, I'll be back on the track, which is I think the next 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Okay.
So, I'm planning to make a whole heap of noise with my feet.
Next year. Yeah.
And let's say with my body, I'm planning to make a whole heap of noise. And I as I said last year, I struggled with like about 3 to 4 months worth of injury, and I am in a good place now, mentally and physically. And the gas that they have thrown on the flame is burning really bright, and it's going to be burning for a while. And people are going to get burned, metaphorically, and so we'll next year.
Make your haters be your motivators.
All right.
Say make your feet do talking. Finishing that top 3 next year to make that prize spot and
winning, man. Yeah, one other thing we do want to sneak in, man. What I listed earlier, and people need to understand, because a lot of people that talk about Ilian this and Ilian that when she left where she was, she was going through the same set of injuries after 2016 when time she won the Olympics.
Rio.
And then World Championship after. She had a bag of injuries, and I'm sure you can remember that a time when she wasn't medaling and things did rough. And then she come back to 2021.
2020.
She has a serious injury, but to me it almost sounds chronic. But I don't want to wish that on anybody. But she had a serious injury that she's struggling with. And people are so evil that you can't even be a human and they don't try to crucify you. This young lady has done so much for Jamaica. People keep on trying to make it seem like she's a villain because she is not running how they think she should. She's a human, and no 2 athletes is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
If you have so much athletes that were the same, would have find another boat by now, and we won't ever.
Yeah. Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So people really need to understand that athletes are humans. And when time on a serial run, you don't think you don't love money? The slower you run and the less you earn.
Yeah, man, and his work.
Right? And as much as you love track and field, the money is a bonus. And trust me, I can tell you this. There is no athlete who go out there and say, "Oh, I'll come last today, you know." None! Everybody, all the time you know you're the slowest, you say, "Yo, my must can beat that one day."
Worse in a world championship final.
Yeah, man.
Right?
You're not going to ease up, you're going to run straight to the line.
So people need to stop chastise athletes and beat them down whenever they are not performing well, because trust me, they are going through things, and especially females. Females should know that females go through things on a daily basis, but us man don't understand. So we can imagine the stress of training plus what a female go through normally. So people really need to chill.
Facts.
And encourage them. And especially the media. I've seen where the media help to beat them down so much. So my time I watch I read articles where where Americans write about Americans, and if an athlete didn't make the finals, you would know how much they praise them and thank them for their service, and you know they don't even state where they finish unless they finish first or are in the top position. The Jamaican media is the total opposite. As soon as you slip, oh, Tracy XYZ and Tracy this and Tracy that. There are other what they call it, constructive criticism. People you can put things, you can word things better. These media personnel, a lot of them, they beat down the athletes more than even the normal people out there. Because trust me, when you read certain media outlets, I don't want to call anybody name because people think me I target them. But when you read certain media outlets, certain papers, you say, "Yo, Jano," right? Things can be worded differently. Because trust me, no athlete go out there and try if he look bad.
No.
All right.
We don't want to look bad on TV. We want to look bad at training.
All right, Tyquendo, Tracey, well said. Thanks for coming on and sharing your experience and telling us, giving us some facts. Actually, giving us some facts. So, all the best for the upcoming season, and I hope to see you in Paris.
Paris.
Yeah, I want to get you back Taekwondo before Paris, surely.
All right, thanks for coming on.
The link. We keep the link.
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Big up.
All right, people. All right, the listeners on Fit FM 96.1. That's in Trelawney as well.
Trelawney,
where the athletes come from?
Yeah,
all the athletes come from.
So for big up Trelawney again. Fit FM 96.6.
Yeah, man, that was Tyquendo Tracey.
Yeah. National champion 2018.
Yes.
Knockout champion as well. I mean, representing Jamaica. For a good while now on the scene. So, and I said, sub 10 man as well. You know, anybody can see them run.
Club. He's a part of the elite club.
Swept. The elite 10 sub 10 club.
Elite sub 10.
Yeah, man. I got close to it already. I run 10-1 one time. But you know, my career.
50 meters.
Which was a short at distance. Overshot.
Overshot at distance. I think it was a 50 meters.
All right, listeners and viewers, you know what time it is? It's time for sports commentary with the controversial one. Take it away, Peter.
Well, greetings. Sports commentary time. Anybody witness the world record attempt by Shericka Jackson? The press, I don't know if Shericka personally promised it, but certainly the media was saying that this was going to be a world record attempt. Florence Griffiths Joyner have a world record that's been there for what? 30 or 40 odd years. And so Shericka, it was said that this particular race in where were they running? Brussels was going to be a world record attempt. And the thing about world records, is like lightning strikes. I do lightning protection systems as an electrical engineer. And you never there when the lightning strike it, The lightning doesn't work like that. And so I don't think that world records work quite like that, where you can say, I'm going to hit the ball out of that ballpark to that area. and then you just hit the ball. It doesn't work like that. And so I hear some people saying that we need to set the conditions for her to break the world records. I don't think so. I think that the world record will come. If you run enough races and you keep trying to do better, one day there might be a puff of 1.9 meter per second wind, or there might be a slightly thin oxygen air, and you run the world record. So my advice to Sharika, not that it's my position to give her advice, would be to just, the record will come.
Yeah.
Don't try and squeeze it out. It's a bit like going to the bathroom when you're constipated. A relaxed mind and body will probably produce that world record. I hear somebody, one of my friends or fans on Facebook said that the reason why Sharika isn't breaking the world record is she needs somebody pushing her or somebody to run against her and, to break the world record, because she has the 4 fastest times behind Flojo. And if she had a rival that was pressing her in the 200, she'd probably do it. But I don't think so. Let me tell you why. I think breaking world records is a lonely prospect. There's nobody with you. When Bolt was out, there was one time that Bolt could have broken the world record the first time. He broke the world record, but he could have broken it where it could never be reached. And the man look around him and there's nobody around him. Because guess what? When you're putting in a world record performance, ain't nobody around you. Yeah. When you're playing your best table tennis, you wouldn't know this. Nobody around you to test you. Nobody around you.
So like you played with yourself, man.
I preached a sermon the other day. I hear them say that I wasn't for Ilian, but I preached a sermon a few weeks ago. It's called Redemption. And I said, is there no redemption for Ilian? It was a sermon of forgiveness. It was a sermon of forgiveness I was preaching, but at the same time, it is also a sermon of redemption. And let me tell you how much it pleases me to be here with you all, to say that I see Elaine bearing the cross now, coming up with the goods, and showing us that fortitude of spirit, that strength, that inner peace that come with knowing that she has paid her dues. And it is a good feeling. And I wanted to say something about these guys, including these guys, who you seem to be suggesting that we have seen the best of Shelley. We are all talking as if Shelley is no longer there and only Elaine can save us or somebody else can save us. Guys, get a grip. Shelley had a knee injury, bad injury this season. And last season, she was looking ominous. She was even talking smack about setting the 100-meter world record, because so good was she running. Not that much happens in a year, Let me tell you something. You know how long people have been calling for the end of Djokovic's career? I was doing some research. About 7 years now, they've been saying Djokovic is past his best. And I, for one, went to Commonwealth Games, Birmingham, 02 Manchester, and as the oldest man in the draw. And since that, they've been calling for the end of my career. And here I am. And still. No, so the point is, people love to call an end to people's career, eh? And so I saw where they were calling for Mr. Djokovic. I saw a quote from Tony Nadal that he was past his best. And many people chimed in and said Djokovic is past his best. He's past his strongest. He's past his fastest. He's not past his best. Yeah, I seen Djokovic game now, a more cerebral approach to the game. I see he's learned more about timing, about throwing himself around, about conserving energy, about not serving your fast. I said, did you watch this new Sherman guy?
Shelton.
Ben Shelton. Yeah. Ben Shelton hits every ball at 140 mile per hour. And guess what? They're not coming on. He's missing every first serve, trying to blaze through the ball, trying to power through the ball. And so the US Open semis, where so quickly switch into lawn tennis. It's now the score between experience and youth is 2-0 in the semis. Two experienced people put out two brash, strong youths, right? And the score is also brain power 2 versus muscle power 0. Alcaraz and Sherman, they come in with all this power and youth and all this. And the Djokovic, who we are saying is past the hill, whether I put it to you is not past the hill, is still right there in the finals now with Medvedev. I haven't made a choice yet, but I think I would love to see Djokovic do it because, GOAT is GOAT. Greatness is greatness. And I like to celebrate, sportsmen who can stand the test of time despite the critics and the naysayers. Dale Palm being one of them. UFC tonight. Adesanya goes up against Strickland. Not going to say much about it, but Strickland is a bit of a clown, been rolling up his mouth a lot and getting under Adesanya's skin. That's an important component to winning a fight, getting into the person's head, getting on his skin. The problem is Strickland don't have anything to do once he gets on his skin. Strickland doesn't have the skills to beat Adesanya. Adesanya is a high-level martial artist. His timing is impeccable. He reminds me of when I used, reminds me of my own days of jiu-jitsu. And so I'm going to predict, you can bet the house, probably win back some money you lost on the last one. Adesanya will beat Strickland. 3 rounds, 1-5. Finally, second to finally, I'm sorry. There's a big fight coming up in October where Tyson Fury has signed to fight Francis Ngannou for millions of dollars. A UFC fighter, once again, is taking on a boxer at a sport called boxing. And guess what? A UFC fighter will never win a boxing match with a boxer. So I don't know what kind of madness this is. I call it a scam. I don't think it makes any sense for people to be talking up these big fights between UFC fighters with their hands cuffed. You can't throw the man, you can't kick the man, you can't do anything. You're going with your fingers in gloves, 8-ounce gloves or maybe bigger gloves against things. No chance. Waste of money. And 3 weeks ago, I spoke about a feud between one of my favorite artists, Popcorn and Denique, fighting over watermelon. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys ever saw, Popcorn did a song now in reply to Denique, who was making fun of Popcorn eating the watermelon. And Popcorn made a reply that was a diss track, I suppose. Popcorn was doing some kind of weird dance with a chair. You saw it? You guys see that? You need to look at it. But Popcorn, I didn't know Popcorn could have danced. So Popcorn was dancing on the chair and gyrating on the chair and grinding on the chair and pumping against the chair and all kind of thing while dissing Denique. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Denique answer back. So there's no a Denique diss of the Popcorn diss. And I'm telling you, I'm enjoying this almost as much as sports. But that's sports commentary. What say you?
To the rescue. Here I am. I tell you what, sports commentary. Our sports commentary with the controversial one. I tell you. Yeah, do remember the phone lines are now open? 1-876-552-7406. That's via WhatsApp only. I'll repeat the number again. 1-876-552-7406. Yeah.
Peter touched on the want to talk the US Open. The US Open is the finals going on now, right? The female fight, Sabalenka. In 5 minutes. Okay, so
I'm going with Kokograph.
We have to go with.
I think it's her time now.
It's her time now. She being one of the youngest to ever reach the finals. At age 19.
Sabalenka is up 5-2 in the first set.
It starts already. We have a caller here.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports. The cunning one. I haven't heard this voice in a while.
Yeah, we know we have a busy schedule.
You work on Saturdays? You work on Saturdays, man. A busy man. Oh, family time. Sorry. All right.
So what's on your mind, man? What's on your mind?
I'm all over the place, man. You agree your gimmicks, man.
Yeah. Nobody should be telling people like that to retire and call it quits. But at the same time, they can't be past her prime and still be a contender for the championship. I remember saying, if she over the hill, her hill is so high. Come down the other side of that, she better than most people still.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So to me, two things that we do, with all that are happening, and with Father Time perfect record, I think it's hard for her to be at her best ever again, but she don't have to be at her best for everybody.
Yeah, well, I think she still can run.
Her best is exceedingly high.
Yeah, well, as Peter said, when was her best? Her best was last year. And, I mean, not much has changed over there. And that was due to injury.
About 2 more injuries.
So based on the injury, if she can recover from the injury, don't you think she can go back to that 10-6 realm, which, I mean...
Well, I would put it this way. If it's one person I would never doubt, is her.
Of course.
I'm not really disagreeing with the point, but just as I said, though, eventually, at some point, this is how it ends. And I hope this is not going to end, because in the same way, the last time we saw Bolt in a competitive race was an injury and a relay leg. So I just hope it's not the same thing happening again.
Well, fair enough, fair point.
Yeah, because even in Rio, Shelly ran in Rio and she didn't look herself as well, and she made a big comeback. So as you say, I would never doubt Shelly, because I've seen how she recovered from certain setbacks in the past. So definitely would never doubt Shelly.
But the same Rio wasn't it Rio where when she came in Rio, did she get the bronze in Rio with the injury?
Yes, exactly.
That's why don't get me wrong. The general point of Peter making, I agree 100%. Shelly earned every single benefit of the daughter history.
Of course.
Shelly, elite, top level.
Yeah, man.
Alright.
Any other topic? You don't want to touch on the reggae boys yesterday?
What do you think about the football yesterday? I missed the program earlier.
No, we don't touch on the football yet. We're about to talk. We're closing the show with the football talk. Because we talk about track and field. We're talking about the tennis now. So in about 5 minutes or so, we're going to touch on the reggae boys and that poor performance from me.
Yeah, man. Also, to be fair, I haven't been listening all the while, but I see that you still have a high standard of guests. So sorry that I missed the full interview with Tyquendo still, but I forgot to check it on YouTube and hear what I'm have to say.
Basically, what he gave us a rundown and some facts and some information that a lot of people don't know about in terms of the inclusion of the relay runner there at the end, Wilson.
With his omission.
As well. So you can listen back, but it was very interesting because I know a lot of people would not have known about all of these things that went on. Even not just this year World Championship, but the Commonwealth Games, the inclusion of certain athletes who did not perform and didn't deserve to be entered in the event based on performances. So it was very interesting to know that these things are still happening.
I find this whole conversation interesting though, because it's an eye-opener for me. Because 2 things. One, a lot of former athletes, at least the ones that are the outspoken ones, so the Warren Wales, etc. Even some others, they're coming out in support of Taekwondo, and I find that interesting because at the same time, I thought, but clearly I wasn't fully informed. I thought that Maurice was one of these people that everybody in the system rates. So which is why you couldn't put a friend or you couldn't put a Glenn, because you assume that they have strong biases one way. But even though Wilson had him club, I thought his reputation was as across the board up there. But this new it's very interesting.
Of course. Trust me, it was an eye opener for me as well, you know. Because it's just, in my opinion, it's blatant, you know, in terms of, there's a conflict of interest, number one, and the next thing, just the moves that were made.
No accountability, just
blatant, you know.
Biasness, just like, I'm the boss, this is what going to work.
Yeah, for you to
just
skip
because I say, I want it that way, which, again.
Well, more or less, the way my personally, I still have a high regard for Maurice Wilson. So
of course, elite coach, but I said...
So I'm very curious about a lot of these things. And a lot of the things, I hear a lot of discussion, I think communication is key and clarity, because the rule kind of clear soon. A lot of people acting like the rule is not clear, you know, but the selection policy clearer than even what I've heard from say, Taekwondo so far. Although I can't dispute a man lived experience still, so I don't want to little up that.
No, but he said in his interview, you know, what the issue is who will you replace him with? If you replace him, fine, but who you replace him with and why?
And not only that,
because he said he was communicated with him.
Yeah.
Because he said that he had Johan Blake, who was tons of experience and was running good as well towards leading to Budapest. You had Julian Fort, who again won a race. So why this man? Why you putting in this man?
But even statistically, where they doing much better than Gosen.
Yes.
Probably where they doing much better than Gosen by that time.
Yes.
Yeah. And the point.
Not much better, but I mean.
And I think the bigger issue is doing.
What would be the reason if his experience because of Blake or Julian Fort? I mean, winning Diamond League, because Julian Fort won a Diamond League race.
Yeah.
You and Blake won races in Europe. So.
What has Gosen?
You won university games, Mark, but even the times are there. And then again, at the 13th hour, you're going to replace me.
Yeah, and I think the biggest
bigger problem was the communication factor.
Yes.
That's what I was getting from it.
So you have you go into the World Championship, finishing in the top 6, and having the idea that you will get a chance to run,
practicing
and practicing, and then
at the
last
minute,
well, you saw somebody.
That's my thing though. Is only who come to the top 3 supposed to really believe say them sure to run.
But this guy didn't even place in the top 6. But apart from that.
No, but didn't they expand the pool?
No, that's not that. No, they didn't know.
They didn't know. It wasn't public knowledge.
No, it was not.
No, the rules never expand the pool. So it's not just 6 again. Armor.
No, I guess
you still have to name the personnel, and the personnel were named, and then it was going along smooth. And at that 13th hour now, you're going to replace me with somebody that wasn't slated. If it was slated, then fine. We say, all right, put on 12 man out of the 12. We're gonna see what happened.
Exactly.
But you put on X, Y, and Z, and then you're going to plug in people.
And then he made mention of other the Commonwealth Games where this person was running 21, basically had a class 2 times, and was put ahead of people that were doing much better. The same person. It's an instance with the same person at a different event.
Yeah.
So it
seems like there was some favoritism there. It applies to why.
I'm gonna say no. More
and again, Caprica interest who's he coached by.
There's something in there, but just in general though, alright. Just as a general principle though, then the relay thing, I think them just need to make it clear that really and truly, once and for all, on paper and everything.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 must run, and then state specifically the criteria that will be used to determine if we can change it later on.
Yeah,
so once all of that is clear, we can get out of this.
Even so, as I said, there's other personnel you could put in, other people you could put in. You could put in Kishane Thompson based on his 9 run.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So we'll just find it a little hard.
Yeah, why this person?
But in general, though, the rule need to be clear. I think a lot of the conversation about the rule, not you guys, I know, but a lot of the conversation about the rule, things are presupposed that once you finish 4th, 5th, 6th, you must. And that's not exactly what the rule is.
But it's not must, but you are told that you are practicing to do such. You are on the list. Imagine going to work and your boss will say you're fired.
Don't get me wrong, that's why we can't see it, say this one a bit weird. But as I said, in general now, it needs to be more clear and so that the public and the people can fully understand actually how relay selection work and probably get a little bit more transparency so nobody knows. So
okay, you're being replaced. Okay, why am I being replaced? Oh, because I said so.
And everything clear and statistically, and everybody know what's going on.
Yeah,
true. So. All right.
But man, let me free up the line for other people. Manners and respect. I try and call again, but you know the thing go.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Colin one. Yeah, we're still here on Saturdays, Colin one. We're part of the family too, so fit us in.
Big up, Peter.
Yeah. Fit us in the family time too, man.
All right. Thank you. That was a Colin time, though.
Yeah, good one. So I'm at the football match yesterday. Yeah, watching the Reggae Boys. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that will finish off. So now Novak is going for what?
Number 24.
Number 24. You play the finals tomorrow.
Caroline. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Naima. How are you?
Well, we're good on this side of the world.
Doing wonderful, doing great, thank you. That was an awesome interview with Tyquendo, and I hope that he does well next year in Paris. Excellent, excellent interview. I wanted to touch on something that he said and get you guys' opinion on it, see if you guys can expand upon it. So he said that the comfort level he talked about the comfort level or discomfort factor of the women, female athletes. So can you elaborate, being that you guys are in sports, especially you, Dale, you're a coach yourself. Can you expand upon that for the public as to what these females are encountering and why, and what's being done about it?
All right, no problem, Naima.
You did that right about now.
Thank you, Naima. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man. All right, so Tyquendo mentioned about the issues that women go through, but I mentioned it a couple of shows back that it's not, women have this thing what we call cycle, hormones that it can affect mood, behavior, and other things. But we here in Jamaica, we have not reached to that level as yet to acknowledge these things. You know, because some people think that, oh, a woman is just a woman, or they're different from the male counterpart, from males. We don't have that same up and down in terms of the hormonal movement during the month. So even with my girls, right, you have to know when to push and when to let off. You know, because during certain periods, they have a higher level of testosterone where they can do more strenuous work, because you know, and then you have a time and period during that same month where it's at a low, and you have to be very careful, because that's where injuries will come into play if you push them too hard. So
that's right.
So the females now, you have to know when to taper off and when to go hard. And a lot of people, they don't really know of this part, so it is somewhat foreign to a lot of maybe the high coaches like Mr. Mills and Stephen Francis. They would have known about this aspect, but a lot of coaches, they don't really know. And even the media, as you said, because I remember a table tennis player, she was going through an issue back in 1993. This is Sofia Vergara, and she was down to win the Caribbean Championships, and she had some issue going on with, you know, we're not going to really talk about, but she had some issues and lost her championship, and you know, everybody was cussing and saying, boy, she this and she that, not knowing that it is more than just that. It's something internal, you know, and it's something that it's very hard to deal with as a female. You know, some people have a harder time managing that kind of thing during that period. While some, you know, so it's very, but it still have an impact.
Yes. So let me stop you for a minute. So as a former, thank you for that. As a former athlete in high school, who obviously went through those things, I can totally attest to everything that you're saying. But in this, and I do remember a couple of episodes before that you did give a great breakdown on hormonal stressors and all of that stuff that women face on the field, and things that other people don't take into, men don't take into consideration. But yet you're showing that you are one of those that do, and there are other coaches that do. So there were two parts of the conversation though today in the interview where women came up. That came up. I did hear him say women's issues, and you talked about that. But I'm talking about earlier in the conversation, he said that women were uncomfortable, and it didn't have to do with hormonal anything. It sounded like it had to do with harassment, or I'm speculating. So that's what I wanted to expand upon.
He made that specific mention to a camp that he was in.
Camp in terms of the
so he noticed that happened at a particular time or a particular instant, which women probably face throughout
sexual
harassment. That's a case that women do have to deal with, or shouldn't, but deal with, and that can affect performance.
Of course. And it's not it's a very touchy topic to them, because a lot of the females, they're coached by males, and you know, we as coaches, we have a rule of two kind of thing here as coaches. where you know you must always have a second person with it. You must never be alone with that, especially a female athlete. But in that case, he was mentioning a coach that didn't have manners. Period. It was very disrespectful even to him, you know, and said he was very abusive, not verbally, and I guess a little of the physical part might have came into play. We don't really know the full details. He didn't really break it down, but we have an idea as to what happened. And we're about different instances with a football coach from Spain.
That's in the public, which they call him for his head.
Yes, you know, the girl's been uncomfortable with that approach.
I think he's the president.
President of Spain after they won the World Cup. You know, he got fired.
Okay.
So we know women do go through a lot, especially now where we're seeing a lot more women in sports. So it is going to take a time, in my opinion, for things to kind of level out. And in terms of the respect factor and all of that, I think it will take a time as we go along. But it is definitely present.
Yeah.
It is definitely present. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. Well, shows like yours will hopefully formulate some solutions, getting the word out there, because putting the spotlight on the roaches, making them all come out so we can deal with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm hoping that your show will continue to do, because it's important, especially if we want women to continue to gravitate and dominate the sports arena at some point. So one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you know that I do, this is personal now, so we're getting into the nitty gritty. So you know that I do The Matrix every Thursday with my mom at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I would love to have the two of you gentlemen on the show, separately or together, to talk about the rest. You guys are comprehensive, multifaceted men. To talk about other things in your life.
Just the two of them?
Besides sports. Oh, well, I asked you, Peter. The offer is still on the table for you, too. Yeah. So I just didn't bring you up right now because, you know, I'm trying to give you a little bit of space, trying to, you know. But yeah, I'm still coming after you two. Yeah. So all three of you, separate interviews or maybe together, so that we can jump into other facets of your life, because everybody listening right now knows what you think about sports, knows what you think about celebrity, and has, you know, other opinions that you share. But how about who you are inside? What made you who you are? What made you have a thirst for sports? You know, what else is there that we want to know? We want to know everything. So can I have the opportunity to interview you guys?
All right, so you have a book us. All right, no problem. Just let us know when.
I don't give him my manager's number. You probably know him. You can probably talk to my manager, Peter. And you know,
we don't know. We're
going down. All right.
Wait, y'all speaking all at once. The answer is yes?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So I'm going to send you out some dates. So everybody listening, the 26,000 plus people, you heard it here first. They will be on The Matrix one day. So look out for that so that we can dig deeper into their lives and credit these human beings for all what they do, because you guys deserve it. You guys deserve the spotlight as well. All right. So thank you for taking my questions and excellent interview and excellent job as well. Take care, guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks,
man.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man.
No problem.
All right. Now we know what time it is again. It's time for Froggy in 5.
No, Froggy in 2. It's Froggy in 5 or 5 with Froggy?
5 with Froggy. Which one is it?
Froggy in 5.
I wonder where
or Froggy with 5. What him coming with this week?
All right, go ahead. Now, people, you know, it's time for Froggy in 5.
Yeah, another Froggy in 5, and welcome again, my Fit FM listeners on 96.7 FM down there in Trelawney. But this one is more of questions that needs to be asked, and I need some answers sooner than later. What is happening with table tennis Jamaica? Where is the presidency going? This man has been in power since February of 2021.
Which man? Name it.
Angelo, all low will logo. That's the question I'm asking right now, you know, because this man has been in power since February. The election should have been called from January of this year, February of this year, and now it's September 2025. That's so long.
September 2025. Yeah.
This is so long now, and this keep pushing back. Is it that he's trying to force the extra year to do what he wanted, his own mandate. We have candidates out there wanting to push this sport forward. And this man is holding it back. He's holding table tennis Jamaica at ransom. For what? What is it about administrations where when a president is in power, they don't want to leave? They just feel like they should just stay in power forever and ever. It doesn't make any sense. I love the sport. I have a lot of friends in the sport. And I want to see the sport grow. But we can't have somebody in power that who decides that he's not coming out until he feels like. And we have others out there who have who wants the sport to go, who have the love for the sport, a passion for the sport as well. And they're not getting a chance. So he has two choices. Who is running this thing? Is it him? Who does he answer to? What the JOA is doing about this?
Is there a question or are you
asking the questions?
Are you asking me the
yes,
question?
when will the JO
answer? You just
to which question?
Which question? When will the JOA step in and fix this issue so that table tennis Jamaica can move forward in the direction that it should go? That's my fucking 5. Easy and spicy as that.
What say you?
What say you? Boy, they are doing even which questions to answer.
Simply, I would say this to your question, Froggy.
Which question first?
In regards to Mr. Lou, right? The presidency. You're saying why is the election being drawn out? I guess because they are understaffed and they have certain paperwork that they have to get in order before they can have an election. Yes, it's overdue, and maybe by the constitution, maybe there's no real president at this moment if you're going by the constitution, but they're understaffed and they have a lot of paperwork that they have to get in order before you have an election. So that is my answer to the question in regards to the election process. Now, when people taste power, that's the next question, right? Power it's hard to go back down. When you go up, it's very hard to then go back down. So when people
accept that role of going down,
accept a lower role. So when you reach the high, you always want to stay on the high. That's why when people take drugs and they go to harder and harsher drugs, that's just how it works. It's a similar thing. So that's your answer to that question as well.
The other question was, who does he answer to? Answer to God.
For sure. When it comes on to sports, ministers and they can't get involved. It's not a part of the whole setup. So in terms of GOA, I don't think GOA can do much about it apart from maybe cut funding. I think the STF, all they can do is maybe cut funding. So it have to be an internal thing within the sporting body itself. That the answer really.
The players probably need to step into play.
I think a lot of it have to do with the players, and that because without the players you have no association. So even though the players don't have a vote, but the players still have a lot of value.
Players should have a vote.
Yeah, they should have. We agree that players should be able to vote, but it is up to the players to make a stand, just like it's up to the people. If the government do something wrong, it's up to the people to stand up, but they don't stand up. Just similar to the players, they probably, some will be on this side of the fence, some will be on that side of the fence. So it's really up to the players, though. It's really up to the players if they want to continue this way or they don't want to. Because if you keep a tournament, it's for the players. So if the players don't show up, then what happens?
There's no tournament.
Then no tournament. And if you have no tournament, then what will happen next? You won't have an.
You won't have a sport eventually.
Eventually, you have to. You'll force whoever in office out. So that's what it comes down to. It's really in the hands of the players. If you look at it that way,
Come back to a question. What was said,
That's
about.
Just 1 second. Coco Goff is now 3-1 up in the second set, having lost the first set to Sabalenka.
I'm following as we go along, Peter. She's
though,
up a break serving right now.
A certain coach, favorite coach of Peter, once said that we are too laid back. I think TT is too laid back with this president.
I mean,
we kind of laid back a little
The
bit.
players are too laid back.
Yeah, we kind of laid back. Time to just get it over
So what
with.
you want the players them for the Black Road?
put
Black
the
the office. Black the office. Yeah.
Black office. Oh.
Alright, let me tell you something. If you change the president now, right? I've seen president change over time, and it's the same thing. Right? One of the part of the reasons is a volunteer post, is a volunteer position. And you're always at the start, you'll always have a lot of people coming on board, and midway through the point, because volunteer, if you put in effort and time, then people start to disappear. And then what you find happen is that the association cannot function because they just don't have enough people to help. So getting rid of Andrew, I don't know if that's the solution, as well as it might be the solution, but you have to put things in place long term so it can sustain itself. You can't just put in somebody and then say, all right.
Succession plan has to be there, because you get
people,
him out, who's going to be there now?
Yeah, you're going to need people that's willing to volunteer them service for it to work. Because a volunteer post, well, it have some perks. That's why people hold on to it. We do understand that. But you're going to need a team and people that are committed to the sport. Just love the sport. Not love what they can get from it, but just genuinely love it. So it can move on. So the solution is not just always to get rid of the person that's in power. You have to come up with a plan, and you have to have the people that really love the game to back up the plan that you have.
Because we did a couple of interviews, months ago, about elections and who the parties that want to go in versus who's running, and there's no news on it months down the line, and we're still in limbo. So I guess that Frog in 5 kind of hit the refresh button to see that, hey, we're still on things where table tennis involved, and we want to know what's going on. It's dormant. You should boss say anything. So Frog in 5, a dead issue. So that was a refresh button that the Frog in 5 kind of brought us back in Sure.
Hold on. Let me just jump in the frame and just say one quick thing. I have a real problem with the General Secretary of the Tennis Jamaica. He came here in an interview and told us that all is well in lawn tennis, despite what we've been seeing in the media. And, you come in front of 30,000 fans and tell them that all is well and the team is heading down to Lebanon, hunky-dory, kumbaya. And then all of a sudden, the next day I see in the papers that the players are bitterly unhappy. They have written more letters complaining about the selection process. And even though the vice president, the general secretary is my friend, Joseph Dibbs, I have to tell him publicly that I'm disappointed with his response to the thing, because the players are still not happy with the state of affairs. And Mr. Azar came on Sportsmax, and he put up a defense, but he kept referring to his son. He's too close to the thing to be a good administrator at this point. Because remember, Mr. Azar took the association to court 4 years ago, about the non-selection of one of his sons. And here we are right back again. He's the president, and we're heading to court possibly about the selection of his sons. I'm not happy with it.
But
sorry to interrupt the
Frog came on with a political stance and tried to quash things on here, telling us that things are good with Tennis Jamaica, but it's out in the public now, as you said. Things, well, next week gonna show us if they qualify in Lebanon, And things can be swept under the rug. All seems to be well. Once you win it, all is well. If they don't qualify in Lebanon now, I think gonna be hot water again. But it comes back to a point of accountability.
I hear the Federation Cup. I'm not going to start a rumor, no. But I hear the Federation Cup. It's the women's side of the thing. Something is going on as well. And when you bear in mind that the General Secretary's daughter is going to be on the team, the ugly enough nepotism.
But we agree. It's the same thing with even Tyquendo Tracey. It's the same issue. Mr. Wilson is the
accountability,
head coach, and he coaches the person that seems seemingly to always be getting favor, the benefit of the doubt. And it's the same thing in Tennis Jamaica. The president is pushing for it, even though they had on trials, and the person who finished second was the person that is out.
It's the same issue that happened to the mixed relay team.
But
accountability with association members is always an issue in sports. Because I remember being left off teams because
it's
it's
just
life.
people.
Jamaica or just
I
life for
know
now.
you have other countries that have the same problem, but we have a bad problem here in terms of accountability. As you say, we don't account to nothing.
Yeah, just hold that. Because you have the power.
Exactly.
Alright, I'm have the power. So
You know, they don't have the power. Let me tell you, the problem is the people don't stand up.
yeah.
That's the real issue.
The rebels.
The people don't stand up. So, we'll strike today and tomorrow we're
going back to work.
You know what I mean? So it's a joke thing. Them take it for
10 of us strike today and tomorrow the 2 willing to strike.
Exactly my point.
8 gone back to work. After 10 of us
not
jump on shit.
hardcore like the Arabs and those people that would stick out and dead for hungry for 1 month because they believe in a specific. We have no real principle. Our principle
The West is
money.
weak. The West side is
As
weak.
usual.
Money.
Let's move on.
The Western side of the way. But yeah, Coco Goff is now up 4-1 in the second set. I mean,
say football.
after losing the first set 6-2, we'll finish off with the tennis. I have Coco Goff coming back to win this match.
Yeah.
She's down a set up 4-1 in the second set.
Alright.
Yeah,
I have Sabalenka winning. I see Sabalenka.
Sabalenka.
Yeah, man.
Alright, so we're running out of time, guys.
Djokovic, number
tomorrow.
24.
Prediction.
Djokovic. 3-1.
Medvedev.
Djokovic. Experience over overall.
Yeah. Medvedev is to me.
Class.
Medvedev is good on the service still.
Yeah,
hard court. He's a hard court
Why
player.
him look so awkward and
Cranky.
Yeah, very cranky boy.
He's best in New York. They don't like the New York crowd.
You know what? I'm going with my boy tomorrow.
Joko?
I'm going with Nova.
I'm on the Nova train.
But no, you
I'm not gonna Nova train, but I have to go with the legend. I have to go with the legend. Greatness is greatness. And one thing with me, I'm not go against greatness.
No,
The fuck is
Medvedev.
Medvedev.
Yeah, but
It's a good choice.
But I want
Medvedev.
Coco to win today, though. I think it's Coco's time now, and I want her to be that name in tennis where.
The next rising star.
Not rising star. No, she rise already.
Star, yeah.
And
I know people say 1-1 Coco fill basket, but not in this case.
It's Coco time now, and she needs to take this title and.
Run with it. All right.
Yeah, man, and run with it. And just dismantle people from here on out. So this is the crowning moment for Coco, and I predict her reign will start from here on out. Because she has a talent. She's mature now.
Yeah.
19 and years of experience. So,
and I think
she's no longer that young rising
female
star.
Tennis need that.
Yeah, man.
That
face and that.
one face. And
Man.
Yeah.
I hear Osaka says she's coming back next year and will play more tournaments.
Wow.
She said she's coming back next year. She said she's going to play more tournaments. She's going to play the Australian Open. She's going to play. She want to finish up next year strong. That's why she's going to start next year. And she says she's coming back next year.
How will she fix the mental issue?
There's one way to fix mental issue in this time and now. Get rid of your phone like what Jokic said. Get rid of social media and you can fix your mental side much easier. Stop reading newspapers, stop watching news, get rid of social media. And it will help
She's
you.
fragile even outside of that.
Yeah,
I
well,
think she's emotional.
we'll see. But she said next year.
All these kids that grew up in these times, they're all fragile. Molly call it?
Molly Cuddly.
Molly Cuddle. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm move on to football. Really, the match yesterday.
I mean, we're going on the Reggae Boys with about 2 minutes left on the show. But I think next week we can break down yesterday's match plus the match coming up on Tuesday against Haiti, which we were all at the match yesterday.
Yeah.
3 of us here on the desk. And I mean,
Disappointing.
if you look back on previous shows, I said the coach Grimmy. Well, call him Grimmy or Grimy? I can't
Grim
Coach
Reaper.
Grimy. The Grim Reaper, Coach Grimy. Give him some time.
Oh.
And
You giving up now?
I think he have enough time. And he need to do better. I don't see we're going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no, this is just we're out there
There's
just
a pattern.
hoping an individual play. We're hoping an individual
that is
play,
true.
a brilliant play from the Margaret or a good pass from Bobby. But and even so, we don't have no midfielders. We have 2 defensive midfielders and 4 wingers playing up front. Bobby Reid, whose natural position is wing back or left wing, right wing, whichever.
Yeah.
Liam Bailey, we know is a winger. Whisper, fast one is a winger. Margaret, a winger.
Whisper was on the field?
Whisper started. Yeah, Whisper
hit the
started.
post.
Good chance if that did score. Yeah. But we're shopping for players all over not all over, but mostly in England and the English leagues and MLS and stuff. We need to find a creative midfielder. We need to find some midfielders. Apart down with Rafael, Tyreek McGee, Lamar Walker, they're not in the the system,
free at all.
the free at all of what Coach Grimmy wants to do. But pretty much we play 4-2-4 with 4 wingers up front.
So
I guess Michael Antonio is out.
So you're blaming Coach Halgrimson because you're blaming him for what? The selection of players.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying.
I would blame him for the selection of players because if you know the system you want to play, you do Pep like what Pep. You pick the players that
No,
play.
but what we do have
I
a
think
system.
he knows what he wants to do, but don't know how to do it.
We do have a system. We just
he's
playing.
without a system.
And the rest,
I thought
not
it
the
was
ball
like
way more than we
I
yesterday.
thought he was just playing with a wing system. I don't know.
I mean,
Chicken.
I'm trying to find a way of putting our best players out there on the field at the same time. But the most of them play the same. Most of them play the same position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you
So
know
is
what?
that fault then in terms of the selection?
You know the
that's
problem
what I'm
of-
coming to. Maybe we have to
Yeah.
make a change.
We do have the personnel to find somebody. There's
You know,
nobody that can play attacking midfield.
You know the problem I
Be a
have with
creative
him.
person in the middle of
That's
the
what
park.
I'm saying with and that's my thought process.
I'm watching the match. We don't
No, man.
offer much really.
See, coach now, he's afraid to make tough decisions. And I see it every game. He's afraid to make a tough decision. If Leon is not playing well, why you don't want to take him off? Take him
I
off.
think Tuesday's match.
All right,
So we
guys.
break down yesterday's match
Yeah, we'll have to wrap
and
up.
Tuesday's match and the whole performance of the Reggae Boy over this international break. So we won't dive deep into
Yeah,
the
we'll have
Reggae
to
Boys
wrap
right
up
now.
right now.
We have to wrap up. So Tuesday we'll play Haiti. Tennis on this weekend. Coco Gauff trying to rally back from a set down to win. Tomorrow Djokovic versus Medvedev. I mean, track and field, one more Diamond League coming up.
One more.
Hopefully Sherika Jackson down in Oregon can run the world record. As Peter said, just go out there and run. If it happens, it happens. Just continue doing the country proud and running fast times, and it will come.
Exactly.
So it will come.
Yeah, so,
So I mean, we didn't even touch on the basketball because hey, USA lose and hey, Noah
save that for
Lyles.
next year.
I like how Noah Lyles calling them out. We world champions of what? And he's just saying that hey, you have a national competition, you have a world competition. You can't say you're a world champion. I'm a world champion. So you can't say you're a world champion if you're not a world champion. You're an NBA champion. So hey, there's levels to the thing. But next week we break down the Reggae Boys more.
Yeah.
We break down lawn tennis. Djokovic probably got 24. Medvedev
I want to
is the
thank
real deal.
our guest today.
Taekwondo Tracey
Taekwondo.
taking the time out and come on and spitting some facts on what is
National
champion, 100 champion 2018 knockout champion,
100-meter champion.
sub 10 athlete elite, and that's rare aired right there,
so
ratified
thank you for
air.
coming on.
Thank him for coming on.
And
And I
also
mean,
want to thank our listeners.
yeah,
for-
Fit
FM
FM
for tuning in
96.7
every week.
Yeah, Primal's up. Fit FM 96.7, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, take it to the world. As you know, we're Primal, and
You
Primal
guys-
is vital.
Yeah, so you guys have a good afternoon.
Yeah, good,
Very
and-
good
hey,
one.
Good evening. And I
A
mean,
good night.
And
And
apparently we'll be on The Matrix sometime soon, so look out for that.
course.
So if we big up Naima, big up the callers,
Yeah,
big up
and
our
Primal
interview.
family.
I'm big up Fragging 5.
Yeah.
I'm Peter, the controversial one. Okay,
All right,
so
guys, have a good evening. I'll see you same time, same place next week.
all right.
I'm your host, Dale,
I'm Kane the Shrub Watson.
I'm only one prime.
and Pete in the background.
All right. One love from the Primal Sports X. See you next week.
All right.